Cool. So first thing you're going to want to do is head over to this Hugging Face page, and you're going to download this 7-zip file. Once you have it downloaded, you're going to need to unzip that somewhere using 7-zip. So I had to unzip this to the root directory of my C drive because there's a file name in the virtual environment that I didn't create, and it's too long, so you get a path error sometimes. So unzipping this directly to the root of the C drive, or in my case, one folder deeper, was fine. But if you run into an issue when you're unzipping this and it says file name too long, just unzip directly to the C drive or whatever your drive is called. So these two files you see here, camera image bat, camera video bat, these are the two files that will launch the program for you. Camera image bat is for animating just a still image. Camera video bat is for obviously a video, a looping video, which I'll show you how I made later in this video. You need this mask template PNG. Don't delete it. Leave it exactly where it is and just never delete it. So here's some examples that I provided that you could test with. The key thing here is you need to have your files named either main.jpg or main.mp4 for this to work. So if you drop a new image in here, for example, just rename the main.jpg that's already in the folder to something else, and then rename your new image as main.jpg. So we'll test the single image first. Here, I put this in because sometimes your webcam is on a strange index. I was having some issues previously, so I just made it selectable. So you can, if it's not working, just start it over, pick a different number until it works. Yeah, I'm just using an iPhone on a tripod mounted directly in front of me, and I'm using a free app called Epoch Cam. That's 30 FPS, full HD, works perfectly fine. But just make sure you have your camera positioned in front of you, aiming at your face. I'm kind of chest up. It doesn't need to be close up on your face. Yeah, so you see it's working. 50 FPS. I'm on a 4090. And you're going to want to adjust these multipliers. So you'll see here, like a test I'm doing is I'm turning my head to the side, and then I'll adjust the multiplier until it looks okay. See, I'm just dialing in the multiplier here. And yeah, you're just gonna have to play with these. And I haven't set up a way to store your previous values. So every time you launch those, you're gonna have to remember what your previous settings were. So let's take a screenshot once you get them dialed in. This is the video file. Same webcam prompt that shows up. The only difference here is you'll see that it's pre-processing the frames. And then it just stores them in the cache, so you don't have to reload them every time. Again, you'll just need to play with multipliers here till you get it looking the way you want it to look. So it's turning my head, adjusting the pose. Basically, you're trying to clamp the limits on left, right, up, down, and rotation of the head. You also have to remember that this is going to be usually down in the corner of a video. If you're live streaming, it's not gonna be full screen like this, so it looks better. Now this relative motion toggle, basically, if you turn off relative motion, you'll only animate the face. So basically the lips and the eyes and the expression. When you turn your head, it won't turn the head anymore. Next, I'll just show you quickly how you could set this up in OBS. It's pretty straightforward. I'll show you two ways of doing it. One with just an image like this, where we're not cutting at the avatar. So the background and the foreground and the avatar are all in the same image. So I'm just creating a test scene to show you from scratch. You can apply some sharpening here too. You know, just tons of filters here you can play with. There might even be some third-party add-ons that I have no clue about, but could be worth exploring. So then you would just position this down in the corner, same as any other stream, and then you would just set up your OBS to game capture or mic capture, whatever you're doing. Cool. So next here, I'll show you how to set up a video. This is actually a pretty unique one because I cut the background out. I've been playing with some particle overlays. I've been playing with some looping background animations. I mean, you can get really creative with this stuff, and I'm just curious to see what you guys do with it. But it's going to be a very similar setup to what we just did, except this time we'll have a green screen background, and we'll just chroma key it out, and we can color correct with the filters. Again, just quickly dialing in some of the multipliers here. But I already have a scene set up for this. So basically, what's going on here is these are different layers that you stack bottom to top. Background will be obvious what it is. Window capture is what we're animating, particle overlay, etc. I'll go through these to show you real quick. So the background can be a video file or just a still image. Then we got to bring in our microphone, which we would have cut out from the source image. The original image that we created, you just cut it out using either a segmentation tool or traditional Photoshop. It doesn't need to be perfect. This is just a cool little particle overlay. Let me actually scale these up just so they're a little bigger so we can see here. Yeah. So the particle overlay is set to just overlay mode. And that's just some looping video that I found on Pexels or somewhere on the internet. It's looping looping static particles or dust or something like that. Yeah, here's the chroma key. This is just a color correction because I ran my video to video with green screen. So sometimes the color bleeds a bit. Yeah, so you can see it's working. So here I'll show you some ways that you can create these images, starting from just the easiest way possible, which is this is just in Gemini, Google's Imagine 3 image model, and you could see that it's working fantastic. Um, and this would also work for non-photoreal stuff. Like it would work for 3D animation, Pixar styles, your arcane style or whatever. Like this would work for non-photoreal as well. But yeah, so you just keep rolling the dice until you get something you like and just download it. I'll show you quickly how easy this is. So I created this image of this girl, download it. I'm going to bring it into the assets folder, and then we'll just have to rename it main.jpg, and you're good to go right away. There you go. Working. So you do see some clipping here on the mic. I mean, in a perfect world, you'd segment this mic out of here and it would just be a foreground element, so you'd never experience this clipping. But you can just pull these sliders down, which you're going to do anyways. And it should help with that clipping on that mic. Yeah, here I'm just opening my mouth as far as I can open it, and then I'm adjusting it to make it not look silly. Yeah. See, the mic's already not really being influenced anymore. But like I said, a good rule of practice here is to segment that mic out and use it as a foreground element. And then you would just in-paint the background behind her. Not that it might not even matter. Yeah, here I'm just showing a way where you can get more granular running just like a ComfyUI image to image model with like bespoke LoRa's that you find on Civitai. So if there's some specific style you like, you can give it a try. Yeah. One quick thing, this is just a node I'm using because sometimes I forget trigger words or whatever. So you can load your LoRa here, and for example, right here, it's showing the trigger word for this LoRa is this right here. Yeah, and this is just so you would get a random image of a streamer in the position that you're trying to capture. Then I'm just piping it through a control net, a depth control net, which we'll see here. So let me just adjust this really quick. Yeah, I'm using the 8-step flux LoRa, so this is much faster. And you can use an MP latent or an encoded latent, depending on the level of creativity you're trying to get out of this, or if you just want a different version of the original source image, you could do that too. But yeah, it's just a generic prompt. Yeah, there you go. Now you can see how I generated that image that we just used in the video earlier. Then you could try a different seed if you didn't like that one. Just go again. And now that these models are all hot and loaded, you can iterate really quickly by just changing parameters and go, changing parameters and go. Yeah, let's try with a different picture. This is the photo we made with Google earlier. So just change this to a woman or girl. Hit go. And you can see how quick it is to just iterate and dial in the exact avatar you're trying to use here. So let's say I'm happy with this. You can give it an upscale as well, which, yeah, might be pointless, but sometimes it helps. And there you go. Now you would just, again, segment this if you want to animate it. So here's just some more general tips. So here's an example where the top of her head is not showing, and that's going to be an issue when you're using a video animation because sometimes she'll clip down from the screen and the top of her head won't be showing. So I like to just do an out painting here to kind of just make sure her entire head is captured. And this isn't something you have to do. It's just if you notice your head is clipping, this is a good rule of thumb. Basically to keep the entire head in frame the entire time. I'm just going to use flex fill on foul to do this, but I could have done this locally with Comfy as well, but I'm just trying to show some options where, if you don't have a PC that can run these tools locally, you could just do this all technically within a web browser. So yeah, you just hop over to File, upload your image that you just made and the mask that you just made. Then you're just going to give a super generic prompt. And this, if I recall correctly, throws in not safe for work on my first try here. Yeah. So I mean, this might happen, especially because I'm writing bedroom. So let's just, yeah, change it to room. Here you go. And there you go. So her entire head is in the frame now, which is what we want. So this is just a quick way of segmenting your character using Comfy, and this Bend 2 one is fairly new. I've found this one to be quite good. So, I mean, you'll see how quick it is here. Let's just use this image we just made. Wow, there you go. Less than a second. 0.086 seconds. Paste it in. There you go. Background's removed. It's not perfect, but I'll show you how we're going to clean this up now. So what we're doing here is we want just the girl by herself, or whatever your avatar is. We want to isolate them from the all the other elements in the scene. This is where we are going to put them on the green screen. And this, again, this doesn't need to be perfect because I'm going to show you how we're going to clean this up again with that fill tool on Foul. So I'm just going to cut out her side here, flip it, and boom, good enough. Do the same with the hair. Flip it, boom, good enough. Then we'll just clean up some of these strays. And fine. That's good. So that's your image, and now you're going to want to create a mask to use. And I'm only concerned with what I've changed. So I'm just going to trace the outline. Now I could have not traced the headphones here to retain the actual headphones, but yeah, so you upload your image, your mask, hit go, and boom, it's clean now. Like, I'll show you. Let's just bring it back in. See? Much better. So now you have your girl isolated. Here's another way you could do this, actually, if you're really lazy and you don't really care about retaining the exact likeness of the original girl. The quality of this tool at the moment is kind of low because the resolution's lower. And in hindsight, now that I'm looking at this, it might have been better to just do one pass at a time than start a new chat, because it seems like the more you keep prompting back and forth with an image, the more it changes and the more it degrades. So ideally here, I would have done the first shot, saved that image, started a completely new chat, and then prompted again, hey, remove the chair, start over, hey, remove the mic. Because you could see here the quality of this is, it needs an upscale. So not hard, but it won't be the same girl as we previously had. But you would then just take this into the Comfy or however you want to upscale and upscale it. Now, this tool is actually also incredibly useful for isolating our backgrounds. So we'll bring in the original image and just remove the woman from this image. Behind her is a black leather computer chair. And there you go. Now remember, it's you'd probably want to upscale this, but I'm not going to bother with it right now, but you would upscale it. But there you go. Background's done. We should probably cut this mic out too. So remove the microphone. Boom. Perfect. Drop that one in. And we could just mask out the part where the headrest on the chair was clipped. See? So I'll just mask this back in. And we're done. So your background's done. And we just got to get rid of the Gemini logo with a healing brush. Perfect. Now you would just upscale this. So now we have a background. We have the avatar cut out. And we have the foreground microphone that we previously cut out in an earlier step. So you have all of your elements now. So to get it to move, basically what you're trying to do here is create a looping video. So I'm using the same start and same end frame. Now you can explore with Runway. Kling has this option. Pika, I believe. Ray on Luma has this option. So there's plenty of tools you can use to do this, but I've just been using Runway on Kyber AI, and to me it seems the most reliable for this specific use case. But the others will work as well. But I found Runway, for whatever reason, kind of retains the likeness quite well of the original person. But yeah, it's just a generic prompt. You can play around with this as well, but you kind of just want her being in like an idle animation. Maybe her hair is swaying or she's moving her head a little bit, but you don't want anything too jarring. Here's just some examples. You can see I ran this one already. Here's another example, which could just loop. And you could stitch a bunch of these together, like you could generate 20 of these, and that because they're all the same start and end frame, and you could just stitch them together, and now you have one long video that doesn't repeat. Feel free to play around with it.